You know, I had a speech all ready to go. I was ready to knock it out of the park, and I had rehearsed it a bunch of times, and then you go and give BSM the Gold Medallion Award, and I'm completely blown away by that. So I got to get my bearings back. Thank you very much for that. And I want to thank the Business Solutions team for that. So before I get into the speech, I just have to thank them for that, and really honored to receive that award from this association, from people who we work with, and we know that we wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for the channel and the work that you do. So on behalf of the Business Solutions Magazine team, thank you very much, and you've just motivated us to continue to work harder and harder, so thank you very much for that. All right, so back to the speech I was going to knock out of the park. So I want to look forward to the future, but first I want to say a few thank yous. First to outgoing past chair, Mark Olson. Mark's over there. Mark, thanks for all that you've done for the association. Back in Jamaica in 2006, that's what Lynn had referenced when we had first met, Mark stood up on stage and made a pitch for this RSPA to move from a dealer association to a true industry association. So he really helped the association at that event. And he also helped me personally there. We had a really unique setup. Instead of hotel rooms and everybody staying in hallways, they had villas there, so 7 or 8 people stayed to a villa, and everybody ate together, and there were pools out in the back. And so I remember Mark grabbed a chaise and pulled two chaises right next to each other, and he sat down with me because Mark had more business experience than I did. He had more life experience than I did. I won't emphasize it too much. It'll sound like I'm making fun of him. And he pulled up a chair and shared his wisdom with me. He introduced me to everybody, I mean everybody, at that event. And he was very generous with his time, helping show me the ropes of the organization. And Mark, I wouldn't have this honor of serving as RSPA chair if it wasn't for your efforts with the association and your personal guidance. So Mark Olson, thank you very much. And the current past chair, Lynn Skurla. Lynn, where did you go? Lynn, I heard many people say that when you were named last year and were passed the gavel, that they were glad to have a first female chair. And I agree with that, but what's an even bigger deal to me, and a bigger lift for all of us, is that we had you, Lynn Skurla, the person, as the chair of the RSPA. Your passion for the association and for making other solution providers successful is inspiring. You took over an association that was moving forward, and you accelerated the progress. Now back to Lynn being the first female chair, as she knows, and some of you do, I have an 8-year-old daughter, and she's back at home, and hopefully she'll come to Orlando next year. Lynn, if she ever wants to go into business, I'm going to have you be the first person that she calls to get guidance. Because whether you know it or not, you're a great role model for so many people. Lynn, thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for serving the association so admirably. Now, looking forward, I wanted to deliver a message tonight that was brief and not corny. And I'm going to hit the mark on brief, but I think what I'm going to have to say is a little bit corny. Last year at Retail Now, I was preparing to host an education panel, and I was getting a little nervous, like everybody does before they get up on stage, and I needed something to fire me up. And out in the hallway at Mandalay Bay, the song was playing over the intercom, and it was Brave, with the refrain, I want to see you be brave. So you've probably heard that song before. It's really popular if you listen to the radio, and a lot of Windows ads had it. How about a show of hands? Who's familiar with the song Brave? How about a show of hands? Who wants to hear me sing Brave right here on stage?
Hey,
Oh,
hey,
no,
hey,
no.
hey.
I was merely taking a survey. That's it. I'm not going to follow through. I want to see you be brave. Isn't that a great message for all of us? And that's my challenge to you and challenge to myself for the upcoming year. I want to see the RSPA be brave, really get to know the needs of each member, and challenge members to improve their businesses by engaging with the RSPA. I want to see the RSPA add new channel companies, vendors and resellers who sell adjacent technologies that we should all know about. I want to see resellers be brave. Don't sell the same things the same way that you did last year. Add to your line card some of the products that you see on the floor, the expo floor today and tomorrow. Managed services, video surveillance, digital signage, remote monitoring, mobility. That's going to be a lot of work, and it's going to be risky, and it would be brave. I want to see resellers be brave with their business model. Take steps internally and with at least some customers to increase your recurring revenue. I want to see vendors and distributors be brave. Develop more bundles and channel programs that speed up resellers transitioning to the more profitable and more stable as-a-service business model. I know that's going to be a big burden on you, and it's easier said than done, and I also know it would be brave. I'll tell you who in our association was brave. Men like Stanley Heyman, Ed Burrell, Kyle Leeds, A.C. Whitmer, Kurt Kennington, and Ed Mancini. In the late 1940s, they faced unfair competition from a giant cash register dealer. They could have quit. They could have bailed and just said, "This is too hard." But they didn't. They formed the ICRDA, which is a foundation of the RSPA that we know it today. They fought the good fight, not just for themselves as individual businesses, but for their fellow dealers. That was brave. I want all of us to not fear the changes that our industry is facing. I want us to have the attitude of one of my coworkers who I hired over 10 years ago. Near the end of his interview process, I said to him, "This job is very difficult. Are you ready for the biggest challenge of your career?" He leaned forward and said, "I'm primed for it." I want all of us to have that attitude. I think it's our time to be a Stanley Heyman. I think it's our time to be a Kurt Kennington. We've all benefited from them being brave. Now it's our turn. I want to see us be brave. Before I close, I want to say one more thank you. You are what makes the RSPA and the Retail IT channel great. You have helped my organization, Business Solutions Magazine, and you've helped me personally in so many ways I can't even begin to name them. I'd like to repay you, so any way that I can during the next year as I'm serving as RSPA chairman, please let me know. Please reach out to me. I'm happy to help you, and I could never repay you enough for everything that you've given to me and to our organization. Thank you so much, very much for this honor. I look forward to serving you. Thank you very much.
Wow. Wow. Look where Lynn took us. Look where Jim's taking us. Look where our board is supporting us. We together will be successful and rise to new levels. RSPA is the vehicle for that rise, and we have the leadership, the passion, the commitment of everyone. And I ask you to thank your board, thank your volunteers, thank your elective officers for their giving their personal time. I know the executive committee last year, I know how hard Brad Holloway and Mark Olson and Jim Roddy and Lynn Skurla worked. Someone said you can't count the hours. Well, let me tell you, in my business you can. And they worked a lot of hours and they put in a lot of effort for all of us. RSPA is at the top of the spectrum and only will go higher. Let's thank all of our award winners, congratulate them, and the bar's open still. Thank you.